Hello, hello. All right, quick tech check. Can all of you guys hear us? Just making sure we're good. People are piling in. Nice to see. How's everybody doing? Okay. Okay. All right, guys. So people are gonna keep piling in. So I know we're all pretty busy. I don't want to take up too much time. So thank you all for coming to our fourth webinar. Today we're going to showcase OpenFrame version 0.7.8. So fleet queries, policies, new updates to Mingo, and kind of what we've been working on, what we're going to continue to develop. So I'm going to let Michael kind of take over here and share what we've been working on. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask us in the chat. We're going to have intermediary stops during the session. So if you have questions, feel free to ask now or leave them for the end at the Q&A. So with that, Michael, feel free.
Hey guys, so a bunch of familiar faces I see. Good to connect again. We're going to start with a quick intro about the company and about what we've been building recently and what are the long-term planning and how we see kind of the MSP market shifts. So first I will quickly present myself. So I'm Michael Assraf. I'm the CEO and co-founder and founder of Flamingo. That's my second startup. So I started a cybersecurity company back in 2016. Once I relocated to the US and kind of started to focus more on US traction and getting more commercial success here with the previous company. It was a vulnerability remediation for infrastructural vulnerabilities. I kind of learned more about the MSP space, and I could see the real struggle of MSPs with two main cost centers. The first one was vendor payouts. So you guys buy a bunch of off-the-shelf commercial software, you package it, and you resell it to your underlying customers. So that was a big expense on the P&L. And the second one was labor, L1, L2, L3 technicians, basically people that need to answer support tickets, need to operate those systems, etc. And I saw some MSPs starting to switch off to open source tools in order to increase their margins. And that's kind of gave me the idea whether one can build an entire IT and security stack that is purely built on top of existing open source tools. Obviously, laying off all the security concerns about open source, making the project more secure, etc. But the main benefit of utilizing those open source tools is that we get battle-tested software, very well featured, things that have been in the market for quite some time. So this is kind of was the inception idea for Flamingo. I started to work on Flamingo back on mid-May 24. And I'm an engineer, so I also built some of the architecture on my own. But later on February 2025, I raised the pre-seed round. It was $2.2 million from two American funds. One is called Focal here in Miami. I'm based in Miami, by the way. And another one from San Francisco. Actually, right now we're closing our seed round, so expect some announcement coming up pretty soon. And that means for you guys that we have enough runway and we have enough stamina and money to keep on building this product and deliver to you guys kind of the best possible product. Some details about the company. So we are headquartered in the US, and our servers we're running on Google Cloud in the US. We're 15 people. We're probably going to double it in the near future. Most of our team, except for Vlad, that probably a bunch of you guys interacted, and another person, they're all engineering. So pretty heavily engineering team we have. You can also probably see that on our Open MSP Slack community. All of our engineers are there. So once you guys report a problem, you kind of they immediately see that, and we try to take care of it as soon as possible. We have daily releases for enhancement and hot fixes, and we have weekly or bi-weekly major/minor releases for things that are on our roadmap. So yeah, so the idea behind Flamingo is kind of tackling the two things I talked about before. So we have one, which is the tooling. So we want to take the tool chaos around all the different tools that we're using. We mapped out 19 different sub products that MSPs most commonly use, and we'll show in a second. We have all of them on our roadmap, and we have a precise plan on which tools, which open source projects are going to replace open source tool, are going to be replaced with open source tools. And some of the things we're also building on our own. So some of the things are quite different than what exists in the market, both for commercial products and also for open source tools. For example, our PSA is very different. It's also highly integrated into our AI. Also the knowledge management, we build the knowledge management in a way that it's easy for AI to read it. So those two modules are self-built. We also built our log analysis platform. Same thing. We need to have the data that sits in the SIM to be very easy for AI to read. So for the tooling part, we talked about this. We want to have kind of a complete open source tooling that you guys can self-host. I know we're getting some requests about self-hosting. If you want to self-host, you should go to OpenFrame-CLI repository on GitHub. There is a CLI command, a CLI tool there that will allow you to self-host it. We had an error on our website. We used to redirect to OSS tenant repository, which is actually our code, which it's not very usable if you just want to self-host it, but we fixed it. We also added AI knowledge management and knowledge hub on our website. And if you guys struggle with self-hosting, you can just ask the AI and he'll help you. For the shrinking margins around labor, mostly we're trying to have a fully autonomous system that have two AI agents, one AI agent that serves as L1 help desk, and it's a desktop app that sits on your end user's machine and it's basically the main gateway for them to report problems. Depends on the way you configure it with AI guardrails, etc. You can either give it a lot of permissions and then Faye, which is the name of the client-side app, she will be able to fix them on her own, or you can have her pretty heavily guardrail, and then there will be a bunch of approval. We're going to show it in a second. The second AI agent that I think a bunch of you guys are kind of like more, it's the MSP technician side AI agent called Mingo. Mingo is kind of unscoped AI agent with less of guardrails. Those two AI agents right now, they're pretty heavily guardrailed, but the ultimate goal is to have them communicating almost independently and fixing stuff without you guys being part of the process, or with a very lightweight approval gates that will also be applicable for approval on mobile apps. We'll talk about this. We also have plans this quarter, I'm talking about Q2, to release a mobile app where you guys will be able to execute things from Mingo, and you will be able to approve things that Faye asks for. So this is kind of the plan for those. We also have plans to run anomaly detection on top of the logging that we collect from all the different tooling. We'll talk about Fleet MDM queries and policies that we recently released. One of the reasons for us to have Fleet MDM queries is that the logging and the queries that we collect from OS query that is being pulled with Fleet MDM is being ingested by our unified SIEMs. So right now, most of the system is reactive, meaning that someone is complaining about something and then we react. But the ultimate goal is to have engine that constantly look for problems. And once those problems occur, Mingo will come to you and tell you, listen, I found a problem, allow me to fix it, or just autonomously fixing it. And that's intended to create kind of a very highly efficient MSP for you guys from margin perspective, because you can extend, you can keep the same team and serve more customers, and you can significantly the money you spend on different tooling. Yeah, so after I moved on from my previous company, I kind of took 7 months both to kind of understand what is the best architecture from technological perspective of, and how should we go about the technical details of how OpenFrame is built. But I also kind of wanted to learn whether, first, what are the highest expenses when it comes to vendor payouts, and second, what are the most common and most mature and best open source tools that exist in the market for each of those categories. And the result of this research is OpenMSP. So OpenMSP vendor directory, if you're gonna go there, it's an educational platform, completely free, nothing that is related to our commercial operation. OpenMSP is basically going to allow you to see what your current stack is, what are the commercial tools you're using, and what are the best open source alternatives. We also have OpenMSP Slack community, where we share both things about OpenFrame, just because it's natural that people share things there, because OpenFrame is kind of the ultimate way to accomplish open source adoption pretty quickly. But if any of you guys are not part of OpenMSP right now, feel free to join to the Slack community or register in OpenMSP.ai. It's completely free and doesn't involve any credit card or anything like that. So our solution has two main components. We have OpenFrame Core. OpenFrame Core is the tooling piece. Right now we have 6, pretty soon we're going to have 8 different tools that are part of it. And it's a unified API, data, deployment, and monitor layer on top of existing open source tooling. So for example, RMM, remote access control. We'll talk in a second exactly what's going to be included there. For each tool that we incorporate into OpenFrame, we have pretty rigid process of how to vet those tools. So we choose the tools that are most mature, most adopted, etc. But we also started with the ones that, with the combination of AI, has the highest impact. So for example, if you have AI with RMM, there's a bunch of things you can do, even things that are not going to involve integrations of other tools that you guys currently have. For example, if you just want a very basic backup solution, you can just ask the AI to run backups 1 per day once you have RMM and AI connected to it. Each of the tools that we integrate into OpenFrame, we fork it, meaning that it's our own version of the tool. We change the way it authenticates and runs traffic between client server. We compile the binaries on our own. We sign the binaries on our own, and we run every COD standard and every quality checks that we have on our existing tooling will also be enforced on the open source tools that we fork. So it's not a vanilla open source tool that we just download from the repository or NPM repository or something like this. That's our own custom version of the open source. It's open, it's completely free. And if someone from the community, for example, wants to use Mesh Central, that is OpenFrame fork of Mesh Central, you can definitely do that. We have 3 generations of the product. And the nice part about the deployment is that it's a single client. So once you get our client deployed, he will make sure that all the different tools are getting deployed. That's open source as well. So that's what's gonna be available for you if you're gonna choose on doing self-hosting. The code is available on GitHub, and we'll talk in a second about the pricing. We're kind of figuring it out right now. That's the AI. So as you see here, we have Faye, which is the desktop app. And your users can communicate with her. We're launching the PSA probably next week. So Faye will also have a way to open a ticket using a form, and you will be able to communicate with the customer through this form in a live manner or in an offline manner. So every time one of your end users is communicating with Faye, a ticket is open. We're also going to have other ways to open tickets through email, etc. And Mingo is the technician side app that hunts for that allows you to hunt for issues and fix them on a more unscoped manner. Faye can see only the device that the user is currently communicating from. Mingo can run batch operations and unscoped operations. Between them, there is guardrails, and you can configure the guardrails or use one of our pre-configured policies. And we just added this week, maybe last week, we added very autonomous, because I saw that some of you guys complained about the fact that it's very, the approval is very extensive. So we kind of removed that. Per our testing, they don't commonly do very crazy stuff. So proven to be a pretty stable from our end. But we understand that we have currently a problem with the way that the notification about approval works. That's why we're going to have the mobile app and also alerts and notifications in the system itself.
Michael Farchit is asking, will OpenFrame remain open source? Does the self-hosted option have all the same features?
It has the, yeah, it has the, it doesn't have the AI features. It have all the tooling, and it's so as long as I run this business, yes, it's going to stay open source. We kind of have to keep it open source because we utilize other open source tools that have certain licenses that require us to have to open source our tool. So we're happy to do it, but we kind of also obligated to do it. The AI features are not part of it because the way we run them is in a unified and shared manner. So we can't really deploy them on a single tenant architecture.
We do have a couple more questions. I think we could take maybe as a few people are asking. So Reese is asking, will there be a way to create / customize forms? We need to guide clients to answer different questions based on what they want. A common one is onboarding a new staff member. We need to know start date, name, job title, department, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so honestly, like we're gonna release the PSA version, and we're gonna get like a lot of feedback from you guys, and we're just gonna iterate very quickly on it. Like right now, it's just a form. Like you can just go to Faye, and instead of starting a conversation, it's gonna be a form that your users will be able to fill out. But we can definitely, yeah, the stuff that you're mentioning here are not very hard to implement. So we will definitely be able to add it.
Steven is asking, yeah, can there be a paid AI module using our own API?
So you don't have to you don't have to use the AI. You can just deploy the agents, like the clients. Sorry, not the agents, and then you can communicate with us with API. We also have bidirectional API already in the product. So if you go to settings, you will see a API with Swagger. So you will be able to build your own AI or whatever you want to do. For on-prem, you have on-prem. He's asking if you can do that for on-prem. On on-prem, you also have the API. Reese, I get it. Just bring up early. It's a massive bugbear on current platform. Okay, yeah. So we're that's fair. And Reese, you also texted me on Slack, and you said you have some interesting ideas about the billing. So very happy to hear. Okay, so this is kind of our roadmap. It's also available on our website. So this is all the things that you see here, the things that we released this quarter. Some of them are still pending. Some of them are still on the feature flag. So even they can even be already deployed. We just didn't enable them. So knowledge management and PSA, extended PSA, it's kind of the biggest things that we work on right now. We're going to release it. We're going to get a lot of enhancements and bug requests from you guys, and we're going to iterate very quickly, and we're going to have the best possible PSA platform. The PSA, important note about that, the PSA right now is just the ticketing part. It's not the billing yet. We're going to have the second generation of the PSA, and then we're going to add it also the billing part. For Q2, we have the Mingo mobile app, which is quite big. We also want to add email security, password management, and the observability platform. It's mostly as a kind of the ground to have the anomaly detection engine. For us, some of the things that you see here for Q3, they're also going to be moved to Q2. Now with the funding, we can squeeze in more features quicker. So I want to have also deep Office 365 and Google Workspace integration. And for you guys that mentioned the onboarding and offboarding, once we're going to have the deep integration into the Workspace and Office 365, imagine that you're just going to ask Mingo to onboard someone, and he will be able to do everything on his own, like creating an email box, granting access, etc. You will be able to do all of it. By the way, there is a thumbs up and thumbs down button on the roadmap, so you guys can go ahead and click if you have something you want to, like, if there is something that you want to prioritize first, and we take a look at it every time we kind of decides what's going to go into the roadmap and what's not. Let's see, more questions. I have few good FOSS options. Is Slack a good mod? Yes, talk to us on Slack, Steven. Do you plan to integrate with like Pax8 or ensure API is open enough? Pax8 has been talking to us quite extensively, and yeah, we're probably gonna integrate into Pax8. Are you talking from? You're talking like that you will be able to buy OpenFrame licenses from Pax8? That's what you're saying? I don't know. You can answer. Oh, you're buying from Pax8. Okay, yeah. So that's definitely something we're gonna do. GMO roadmap looks good. Any chance you will be able to execute a BA or for HIPAA? If there are specific products for compliance and there are good open source tools that you find for compliance, please share them. We're both gonna add them to OpenMSP to the directory, and we're also gonna prioritize them on the roadmap. We got few requests for compliance tools. By the way, we added policies now, so some of the compliance things you can probably accomplish with the policies that we added with Fleet MDM. For 365, please do not use client secret as it's a risk, and use PKC flow. Okay. No, it's for billing. So Risa, do you mean that you will build your like you will buy licenses from us through Pax8, or you wanna like how do you plan on doing it? Okay. Okay, so that's kind of our a more precise roadmap when it comes to which tools we're gonna integrate into the product, and also this is something we got a lot of requests about the pricing. So Gen 1 is what we want to complete in the next few weeks, which we're short of PSA and documentation. So RMM, we use tactical RMM, remote access control. We use Mesh Central. For SIM, we self-built it, and for MDM, we use Fleet. For patching, we're gonna add. It's even happened today, but we're gonna add our own binaries of Chocolati and Homebrew, and we're also gonna fork the repository. Like we're gonna fork the repo of the packages. So we're gonna vet the different packages that are inside Chocolati and Homebrew. PSA we self-built, and that's gonna be out in the next few weeks. Same for documentation. We also built our own documentation product. That's Gen 1. Gen 2 is going to be more cybersecurity focused, so identity and access management and zero trust, network monitoring and management, email security, cloud backup. So that's the second generation. And the Gen 3 is the hardest stuff. So EDR, EPP, damage detection and response, and backup and more extensive backup and disaster recovery, not just the cloud backup. So pricing. So everything for Gen 1, once we're going to go live and commercial, we're going to start with promotion of $1 per device per month, and we're going to go up to $5 at the end of the promotion. Gen 2 and Gen 3 are going to be on top. Just to give you guys understanding, we're not making too much money on the tooling. The margins there for us are pretty low. Because we create for each MSP, we create a dedicated VPC, meaning that you're not sharing anything with other MSPs. It's not a unified environment. Yeah. Okay, I'll take some questions. He's talking about the ability to read our licenses usage. Oh, yeah. So Keith is elaborating on the Pax8 integration. He's talking about the ability to read our. I can't. to read our licensing usage from Pax8 so we can bill our customers for M365, Microsoft 365. Yeah. So that's going to be included in the Pax8 integration. I have FOSS for PSA, and documentation might help. Yes, Stephen, we found like we know 9minds and we know Hoodoo for documentation. It's just that the fact that it's very, very different from, like, the data is very different from the way we ingest it, because the way we ingest data, both for ticketing and for knowledge management, is very focused on having the AI a bit easy to read. Like, we index it in a way and we put it in a RAG that it's easier for the AI to read it. And then so imagine that, let's say that you're writing something about configurations for a specific one of your clients, okay, and then you add it to the RAG, and then you add it to the knowledge base article. What happens behind the scene with current platforms, it just sits in a database. For us, it doesn't sit in a database. We stream it directly into the RAG. So all of the current tooling, all of the current tools that we have, they haven't been built to be AI first. Our software is really built to be AI first, and that's why we have to build it. We have to build documentation and ticketing on our own. Is there efforts to integrate with new MDM Apple business offering? Yeah, we're probably gonna have to do it. We're gonna adopt another open source tool for deeper MDM integration, like micro MDM and others. I'm actually asking if OpenFrame as a company can be a business associates agreement, so we can use your platform to support medical. Otherwise, I won't be able to onboard them. So Jim, if you have any requirements that are being that a certain vendor needs to be complied with, I will be able to give you a more proper answer. I'm not familiar with BAA regulations. So if you have something to share with me, I will be happy to read it. For example, I buy MS on-prem license. Okay, so that's also related to the Pax8 integration. Reese, we're just gonna expose some APIs that will allow Pax8 to pull it from us, and we're gonna do the integration. This is something I also did in my previous company. With self-host, no, self-host is not chargeable. You can go ahead and deploy it on your own and put it on your own servers. Okay, so let's move to a demo, and I will be focused on the more recent things that we added. Okay, so that's the product. By the way, right now it says organizations here, and it's quite confusing. Organizations for you, it's a client. It's an underlying MSP client, and you can add here all of your different clients. Then once you get the devices deployed, you can choose here the client, and then this device will be tattooed for this client. We're not allowing very dynamic operations to switch between organizations and between clients, because that's have significant impact on the way our billing PSA is going to work. So let's say that you want to move devices between clients. It's actually, like, the way it's designed is that you're gonna have to run some command that will have an orphaned device for one account, for one client, and another new device for the new client. That's because it's gonna affect the billing at the end of the month. We're also working right now on a tagging system. So a bunch of you guys asked for more levels of hierarchy when it comes to how devices are being grouped. So you will be able to add on the command here tags, and those tags are going to be completely dynamic, and you will be able to filter and sort by those tags. Okay, so that's kind of my two devices. I have Windows and Mac, so everything that you see here is being fetched from the underlying open source tooling, and this is all the agents that we have. So you see that all of my agents are currently online. We have here we added a lot of enhancements to the remote access control. Right now, it supports bidirectional clipboard. It supports multi-screen. I know that there's some still issues there, but we're working to fix them. And we're also going to add here a message saying that someone is remote controlling your device. The attended versus unattended access to a device will be determined once you get the device, the client deployed. So you will be, so for example, if it's a server, you don't really care if it's attended or unattended. But if it's an end user machine, or it's a specific client that require you to have the user approval, then you will be able to determine on the installation command. Some of you guys asked me for shortcuts. So you have here, like I'm on Mac and I'm controlling Windows machine. So some of for even the copy paste, it's a bit weird because on Windows it's control and on Mac it's command. So you have it here, and sometimes if it doesn't work, for you, just because the command, like the combinations of the commands are kind of different. You have your remote shell, so I'm on Windows, so there is both CMD and PowerShell. And you also have a way to push and pull files here directly from the device. Now let's move to scripting. So scripts, we enhanced the script experience. So we changed the script wizard, and we also added script schedule. In the beginning, it was just Windows. Now we have it for Windows and Mac. So you can add the script. You can add the script schedule here, and you can have it repeat. Let's say it starts every day at 12 a.m. every week. And then you can choose here the script, and you can change script and set the timeout. You can also set environment variables for this script execution, and then it will be executed on a periodical basis. And the logs for the script, you're going to find them here. You have here the details. Oh, sorry, I went to the. You have here the details of the log execution. Here's the result. So that's for the scripting part. That's kind of the newest feature in the system. That's kind of enterprise grade OS query that you can run for two purposes. One is to query information from endpoints on a scalable manner, and second, to check if certain policies meet your criteria. Let's take this one, for example. So you see here that that's a pure OS query and the way I do it today, because we still don't have the AI to build policies and queries for you, I just go on Google and search for fleet MDM policies. Then you have a bunch of them here. So if you're gonna see it here, you're gonna have this one here. Let's take one that is purely OS query. You see, this is MDM required. Antivirus healthy. See, you can copy paste this. Same for policies. You also have same for queries. Sorry, detective Apple intelligence is enabled. Get authorized SSH keys, etc. I was trying to second how the queries looks like. So the way it works, like if we'll edit it, you will see it here. And we can also, so you can choose which devices you want to be, you want to have as part of this policy. For devices that have some sort of an issue with fleet, you're not going to be able to choose, and we show it here. And you can also run test policy here. And that will tell you if the policy that you're currently running is actually working or not. That's good for debugging. So if you're changing something and you want to constantly check if what you're doing is correct. See that one host haven't returned information, so maybe something is wrong with the policy. Let's go back here, queries. So Reese, I think, mentioned it on the OpenSlack MSP community, Open MSP community. So policy is kind of going to tell you if something is right or wrong on a certain endpoint, and queries will tell you what's wrong. So let's say that you're not allowing any Chrome plugins, so you will create policy that that will check if Chrome plugins are available. And on queries, you're going to have get installed Chrome extensions. The difference between queries and policies in terms of output, policies always expect for binary information. So it's either true or false. So the query is going to return true or false, or it returns at least one row. So if the query returns one row, it will, and this row is not binary, it's not true or false, it will be counted as compliant. If it's returned 0, it will be returned. It will be flagged as non-compliant. Policies runs every 1 hour, and queries. I'll show you how queries looks like. So let's take this one. You see, so queries doesn't need to have count or any sort of limitation on the data they return. And as you can see here, the data is completely flexible. So we can accept any sort of tables here. And I know that it's like probably without having queries that are predefined, it's kind of hard to use, but I'll show you in this, like I will show in a second, like what we're planning to do with Mingo. And this is also, and that's kind of, by the way, like moving forward, this is also going to be a huge part of our EDR. So we're going to have a bunch of EDR components that rely on predefined queries that we had here. Logs, you can see here the logs from all the systems, and that's the tickets. Yeah, Vlad, you wanted to say something? Sorry.
Tuan had a question. What is the reporting capability? Ticket report, device health reports? Question mark.
Yeah, so that's actually something I wanted to show with Mingo. Yeah, that's kind of one thing I did before. Please run, please. So I have Windows and a Mac machine on this deployment. Please fetch all recent event logs from all online machines. Okay. So you see that like that's kind of what Mingo is doing. Mingo also have access to the to our databases. Now it's going to run the proper RMM commands for both machines in order to fetch the latest information. So you see it here. Now it's running against the Mac. So that's here. And now it will provide us kind of very very nice analysis. No errors detected on Mac. And for the reporting part, this is also something I wanted to do here, sandbox enough. So you see that he's figuring out some problems. And here is a health assessment of those 2 agents. And now I would ask him, please create this analysis as a report I can share with, externally with task prioritization should in MD format. And now it's going to create a kind of a plan. And I'll show you like, and that's in general how I like to use AI. It's not even related to Mingo. I'm just going to open here docs. Once it's going to finish, I'm going to copy paste this markdown. And you see, it's building us like a prioritized list of actions for each of those devices. And this is going to be nicely, like you see, once I'm pasting it on a markdown format, you're going to see that it's going to be nicely formatted. Okay. So we have all of this here. I'm just going to take it here and paste from markdown. You see that you have a very nice report that you can even share with your customers. and show them like how you and you know I did it only for two devices, but let's say that some of your clients wants to understand if they need your service for more than X amount of devices. You can just deploy the agent, run this analysis that I just did here, or even something more extensive, maybe something that's related to security or security gaps, etc., and just provide it to them. Like our reporting capabilities looking forward, like moving forward, they're also going to be AI driven. Like I saw it in my previous company, there's almost no generic reports that can work across the board for all of for many clients, and that's kind of why we're going to take this approach of AI helping you generate the report. It's just going to be in a more easier to consume manner. Yeah, I think that from maybe ticket. Yeah, I think the ticketing. You guys all kind of already familiar with that. So that's kind of the. Let's go here. So once you guys gonna get the device deployed, let's close it. You're gonna have Faye here on the tray bar. And we're working on making Faye fully customizable, so you guys can put your face here, and you can have, instead of Faye, you can write your MSP. We're also going to add more branding, so you will be able to configure the colors, the quick actions, almost everything that you see here. And Faye also have predefined access to all of the tooling. So let's say that the user is complaining that the computer is running slow. She also have the ability to execute things. So you see here. And every time someone's open a ticket with not even a ticket, just starting to communicate with her, we will have a ticket opened here, and we will be able to see what's going on live with Faye. And we're also going to have Mingo here. This is kind of a temporary solution. We soon going to have Mingo as a sidebar in any of the screens, and you will be able to play around with the context. And for example, if you're on device screen, like let's say that I'm here, you will have Mingo here, and you will be able to add this device into Mingo context and then ask them questions about this device and execute scripts, etc. So that's the ticketing part. One last thing, if we'll go here, here's the guardrails. If I'm going to click edit settings, see that you have the button here for use for custom policy. If you're going to click that, you will be able to configure the granular activities of Faye and Mingo and determine what needs to receive which approval. Like, is a technician approval required, or if it's not, you can also change here. I don't recommend doing it. Per our analysis, Claude is the best model, but if you want to play around with this, you can definitely do that. And for those that asked about the APIs, so you have here a way to create API key, and you also have Swagger here with commands and with the API calls. Yeah, here is the Swagger. Okay, yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to show you some stuff, some cool stuff that we're working on right now. Where is this? Slack. Share. Yeah, so this is how Mingo is going to look like. So you're going to have a way to have Mingo as a sidebar all the time. And then as you browse through the pages, you will be able to switch the context of Mingo. It's going to look like this. You will be able to attach certain objects in the system into Mingo. And then let's say that you currently have a problem with a specific customer. You're just going to go ahead and select organization and the specific customer or specific set of assets, and then it will add it here. And Mingo will be focused only on those. I think that's pretty much it. Like, I think we talked about most of the stuff, so I think we can open it now for questions, Vlad, or is there anything else we need to cover?
I think we addressed many things. A couple of things. I assume most of you already have access, but if anybody in the webinar still doesn't have access, feel free to reach out to me via email or Slack, and I'll get you your access. We're trying to kind of keep the pool like not limited, but we don't want to give out codes to people that don't actively use the software. So ideally, if you do want access, please try to deploy on at least 10 devices, and do play around with the copilots to kind of figure out how they can streamline your particular MSP ops. So if any of you don't have access, feel free to reach out and let me know. And then Jim's asking about pricing.
Jim, it's per device for all the, I'll show again. It's not only for the RMM, it's for everything that is in Gen 1. Show it here. Yeah, everything that is Gen 1, that's going to be included in 1 and then 5. Okay, so it's going to be promotional for $1 per device per month, and then it will go up to $5 per device per month. Okay, and then Gen 2 and Gen 3 are going to be on top of it. Sorry, I'm delayed in my POC. Will deploy in next few days. Okay. Yeah, there's some more questions here. No.
Any questions, guys? Anything you'd like us to, any requests, any questions, concerns, anything?
Yeah, looks, there's a chat. I know it's not really for you to do, but I could never get it to work with the current tool. Does anyone know how to make Fay more prominent, like a pin to taskbar or a desktop shortcut? That's actually a good question. I will check with the team on how. We're also working on a more extensive onboarding, both for MSPs, but also for end users. So there will be like a certain wizard for your end users to know who Faye is, because some of you guys said that some of your users think she's a virus or something. She's obviously not. She's an IT assistant. Thanks. Is there a role that we can grant access to end customers? Therefore, the customer has a live dashboard and reporting. Yes, Tom, we're gonna have it. I have to say that the end user features are kind of delayed because we want to first have the kind of the bread and butter, like all the different components that you guys already paying other vendors. So we want to unify that, and then we're also gonna add the roles inside the product. So right now we have only admin. We can also have admin for specific client, and we're also going to have what you said, which is a purely view dashboard, even not for IT people, just for general people. So they will be able to see what you guys did this month and why you're charging them this amount, etc. So Keith is asking, do we need the license key for the OpenFrame version on GitHub? I would like to start testing. No, you don't need. You don't need. Just go again to the website and click on the ready to self-host call to action button, and you will see that it's no longer required. You were prompted for access token because it was the actual code of the software. It was not the CLI. It was OpenFrame OSS tenant repository and not OpenFrame CLI. But if you're going to use the OpenFrame CLI, it's not going to ask you for an access token. An epic tool that it's hidden is not that epic. You're right. We're doing a lot of work on the more heavy stuff, and sometimes we forget to market it, but we will definitely gonna do it. Yes, it's very important. I have my org on RMM, but I can let my staff manage that if it needs to be a hidden form. We also can have emails, by the way, Riz. Your clients will also, your end users will also be able to send emails. For the same feature for Gen 1, how much storage and how long are the records stored? That's a good question, Jim. We discussed it internally. You will be able, if you have compliance regulations and you need to move some of the data to cold storage, that's going to be a bit more expensive, depending on the amount of storage. Right now, the SIM pricing is part of the device pricing, where we might be sorry for that, but let's see. Like, you know, it's a lot of, like, we're still new to the market. We finished assembling the team around 8 months ago, so we're still figuring out a bunch of stuff, including pricing. So yeah. There's another question. Will it remain open? One of our biggest struggles is when our techs are away sick, and the management of their queue and booked appointments very time consuming. Will the AI be also inward looking for the MSP management and resourcing to easily distribute the tasks and client comms? So Craig, the way we look at Mingo is that you have a bunch of data sources right now. If you use a lot of different vendors, or even if you use fewer vendors, you have a lot of data sources that are kind of, some of them are harder and some of them are easier to integrate into AI agent system. But our ultimate goal is to have all of our databases, including the access to the underlying tools, unified under single AI agents. So if you have problems of reshuffling or resourcing certain personnel that you have internally, imagine that once you have something, you have AI that can query the database that has the sourcing or the schedules of those personnel. You will also be able, that Mingo will also be able to do it. So you will be able to accomplish that just by asking Mingo, hey Mingo, I have this technician sick. What does he have to do, and what's the best way to compensate for his absence? And he will go ahead, and Mingo will go ahead, query the database, see all of the open tasks, see the tasks for these technicians that are pending for the next few days. We'll search for unallocated resources and we'll recommend you to reallocate them, and we'll actually do that for you. One last question. Does everyone on this chat want to have access and didn't get it yet? Or all of you guys already have access tokens and you can test the product? If anyone doesn't have, then you can reply now, I don't have access. You want to have access, John? Yes, I think I don't have access. Yes, okay. So Vlad, you have a bunch of more users here.
I just asked. Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
All right, John, Keith, Jim. Cool. Guys, give me like 5-10 minutes. Check your emails, which you used to sign up for the waitlist for beta access, and you'll receive a code and instructions on how to set up your organization.
Okay. Yeah, I think I need access. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a wrap, right? Like I don't see any more questions. Yeah. Thanks guys for joining. How do I stop the share? Oh my god. I need an MSP. Is there an MSP here? Yeah.
If any of you guys know any good webinar software, because we're struggling to find one that we actually like, feel free to throw it in the chat before we close up here, because everything seems like ass. Excuse my language. Teams.
Oh my God, Teams. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, cool guys. So join OpenMSP and share all of this feedback also live. And Vlad, anything to add?
Don't think so. It's cool to see all of you guys testing the product. Honestly, I feel if you guys like anything at all, feel free to message in the Open MSP Slack community channel. Like we read everything and we try to respond as fast as possible. So if you are shy, don't be shy. Just ask whatever. We'll get back. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, a couple of people told us that we're doing God's work in the MSP space. So we hope you guys feel that same way.
Yeah, so yeah, thanks guys again for joining and join the community and test the product. And hopefully we're gonna have another big version coming soon and we'll meet in another webinar. Thanks guys. Bye.
Take care.